Good morning.
Hey, everybody. Today is Wednesday, April 7th, and this is In Case You Missed American History. Sorry for the annoying noise behind me. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to run you through what you may have missed, because if you're watching this, that means you didn't make it to class today, and that is okay. Hope you're well. Hope those around you are well, and I hope that your quarter got off to a decent start yesterday. So basically, just like I said, gonna summarize all the big things we talked about in class today. Some reminders: your assignment, Progressive Sweep the Nation, is due on Monday by midnight. And remember, Monday is going to be one of those asynchronous learning days. So if you don't get it done during the week, you'll have the whole day Monday to work on that. And also that, if you need help, make sure you message or chat or email me if you need me. I'm obviously here. I do sleep at night, but other than that, I'm available. I can stop what I'm doing and send a message to help you out. Okay, so today's topics that we're going to look at are going to be why did the Progressive Era happen? Like what was going on? What made this situation the way that it was? And then we're also going to take a look at the progressive problem-solving approach. And while we're doing that, we're going to try to maybe model that a little bit, like at least the thinking that would have gone on during things. And then I'm going to give you guys a whole heaping helping of work time to work on the assignment. So if you're watching this at home, take whatever time you have allotted for American history and use the rest of the time to get some work done. Okay. All right. So here we go. So click. There we go. So the Progressive Era began, and I said this yesterday, went from 1900 to 1915. So it started in 1900, ran for about 15 years. Now, the thing is that I've seen a lot of different time stamps put on this: 1876 to 1914, 1888 to this. And a lot of historians vary on what they call the Progressive Era. But basically what I do is I boil it down to, from 1900 to 1915, there were no other really huge things going on. Now, okay, yeah, the Panama Canal got built, and sure, World War I started in Europe without us and things like that. But it seems to me like from 1900 to 1915, the focus of the country from a what are we doing standpoint is the Progressive Era. It was really kind of the perfect time for change. If you think about it, we just won a major war and added some territory. We're not totally over our Civil War racism, but the wounds of the Civil War were starting to heal. With turn of the century, start of a new century, new me, new whatever, kind of thinking. And everything was kind of going well. When things are going well, you can focus on doing nothing and just write it out, or you can focus on improving the things that need to be improved. And that was kind of the attitude that the country took. It was improving those things that needed to be improved. So it was a great time for change. We had grown a lot as a country. And that's great. Okay, we'd added all this territory because when we first started off, it was the 13 colonies becoming the 13 states. And then we added to the Mississippi River, and then we added a little bit more. And then we won a war with Mexico, and we added more. And then we bought this, and then we bought that. And then we manifest destinied all of that. And Alaska, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, Guam, the Philippines. Okay, you name it, we've added it. And industrialization and the end of slavery and all this growth that we had done, not just from a physical standpoint, but also from an invention standpoint, from improvements in society. Not everything was perfect, but the issue is with growth comes problems. Okay. And I guess the best way that I can give you an example on this would be to talk about maybe you. Some people grow at a pretty even pace, a little bit, inch here, half an inch here, half an inch there. And some people have like these massive growth spurts. Okay. Like I had a massive growth spurt right before 5th grade. And if you went through a massive growth spurt, you know that there's problems that happen there. Your knees hurt, your elbows hurt, your hips hurt. You're super awkward. Like your legs and arms don't work like they're supposed to because you're not used to controlling them. You outgrow all your clothes, and obviously other things that can go along. But when you look at a country, well, even take like a place like Marshall. Okay, take Marshall, population roughly 4,000. let's say that you graduate in a couple of years and you leave and you never come back. Okay, you don't come back for a really long time, and then you get an email or a brain mail, however it'll work, then inviting you to your 25th high school reunion, and you want to come back and show off how well you're doing. And so you fly into Madison, you rent a car or hover car or whatever we have at that point, and you drive in. And as you're coming over the bridge into Scenic Marshall, you see the sign and it says Marshall, population 450,000. Is Marshall going to be different? Is Marshall going to be better in some ways? Is Marshall going to be worse in some ways? Okay, because you think about it, you're probably going to have more crime. Okay, you're probably going to have more schools. Is that better? Is that worse? You're going to have areas that are going to be overcrowded. You're going to probably have areas that are broken down because people are paying less attention to them because they're old. You're going to have some problems. And like we said yesterday, the government isn't much help at the start of this. And we discussed the reasons why. The money. Follow the money, and you generally are going to understand what's going on. And the people with the money were happy with the way things were. White, rich men didn't want women to have the right to vote. They didn't want black men to be equal. They didn't want immigrants to be treated the same. They didn't want workers to have like a minimum wage and things. Now that's not all rich white people. Don't get me wrong there. Okay. But a lot of them, they liked the way it was because they were in power, because they got to say what happened. And so when the government doesn't have the answer, people look around and go, okay, who has the answer? Who can help? Is it that, no, they're the government. Okay. Is it that? No, they don't do anything. Is it? No. Well, wait a minute. I have a problem and I have some ideas. And so how can I help make a change? And so these people that wanted to make those changes started calling themselves progressives. Remember the root words: progress, progressives, making progress. Bleh. Okay. And so the country turns to them, and they get relatively organized and they start to share ideas. And some of those people who are progressives go, you know what, I could run for an elected office, and they win. And then they go, I could still think the way I was thinking before. I don't have to follow the money. I can follow the will of the people. I can follow the ideas that are in my head that are going to make this country a better place. And so progressives don't focus on like, yay, us, look what we did. Yay, we bought Alaska. Yay, we took over Hawaii. Yay, we found Midway Island. They go, okay, now how can we make life better in those places? Or look at, we invented the light bulb. That's amazing. But the workers that work in the light bulb factory get paid like crap, and they work long hours and things like that. What can we do to make that better? They don't just celebrate the wins. They celebrate the win and figure out how to make the win a dynasty, I guess would be the best way to kind of look at it. Okay. But they kind of have I don't want to say a set way to do things, but kind of a problem solving approach that they used along the way. And I think this is a problem solving approach. It's really close to the scientific method. I think it's also close to kind of a common sense problem solving approach. Okay. So what they do is they identify a set of problems. They go, okay, here are all the things that are wrong with our society: childhood labor, sanitation issues, women need the right to vote, black people and Latino people and Asian people and basically any other race of people are dealing with racism at this time period in history. People of color are being stopped the right to vote. Okay. Well, here's all the stuff. We made this list. Okay. Pick one that you're interested in. Okay, so if you lived in the world today and we said, oh, global warming, plastic in the ocean, coronavirus, the rights of people of color, all these different things, and you're like, well, I don't really care about the ocean. I don't live by that. So on that, global warming, I don't really believe in that, or whatever. I don't think that's the thing. But you're like, well, the part about the rights of people of color, that matters to me. Well, then you focus on that one. Okay. You don't have to focus on plastic in the ocean if you don't care about plastic in the ocean. Progressives were like, they wanted you to take something where your heart was. They wanted you to take something that you felt passionately about. Okay. And so here's the issue. Now you're going to investigate that issue. Now, where are you going to get your information? Well, progressives did a good job of like giving you information without bias. They gave you the sides of the argument. They showed you, like, here's how people feel about this, and here's how people feel about the opposite side. Now you look at that and you decide how you want to feel. They didn't say, here's this and this is how we want you to feel. They gave you both sides, and you also could do your own investigating. That was one of the things about progressives, is progressives believed that taking an active role in getting information was really important. So you care about global warming, let's say. Okay, so you do research. You look at, global warming is a thing, and here's why, and here's how we can stop it. But you look at the other side of things too. Global warming is not a thing, and here's why we don't have to worry about it. And you look at that information and you decide how you feel, and you decide, like, how can I help exact change? Then what you do is you educate people who are worried about the same thing. And now you try to do that without bias. You don't throw your "this is my plan" on them. You're like, here's the facts about the dirty water in Flint, Michigan. Okay, so much lead, so much bleh, can't drink it, it's orange, whatever. Okay, you throw that out there as much as you can. Here's what could be causing it. Here's what might not be causing it. Here's what it could do to people. Here's what might not. You give them the info. Remove the politics. No right, no left, no Democrat, no Republican, no Trump, no Biden, nothing. Okay, progressives believed politics had a role, but they didn't think politics should play a huge role in what's right and what's wrong in your head. Because as soon as you go, Republicans think X and I'm a Republican, Y can never be the right answer. That's how progressives kind of thought, that you had to let go of your allegiance to find what was right. Now, maybe at this point you go, I'm not interested in water in Flint, Michigan anymore, and you go back up to step one and you start over. But then progressives let the people choose kind of how they were going to help and how they were going to exact change. Maybe you donate money to the thing in Flint, Michigan. Maybe you go and you protest. Maybe you write a letter to the mayor of the city, the governor of the state, the president of the United States. Maybe you're a scientist and you come up with some amazing way to clean the water. But they let you choose how you're going to be involved. And then you take the next step and you make that change. Maybe you get people who go, you're a genius. I'm going to follow you. I want to help you. That's how I'm going to be involved, is I'm going to help you, Mr. Scientist, who came up with a way to purify the water. Or yes, we're going to do a letter writing campaign. Or yes, we're all going to go and protest Governor Whitmer in Michigan. Okay. And if it works, yay, clean water in Flint, or no more global warming, or plastic's not in the ocean anymore, or standardized test scores around the nation go up for high school students. And if that happens, we return to step one and we go, next problem, check. What's on our list? I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in that. But if it doesn't work, if we can't clean up the water in Flint, if there's more plastic floating in the ocean, if you name the problem, for wildfires someplace, then we return to step two. We start our investigation again and we go, what did we miss? Where did we go wrong? What happened? And then we start the process again. Okay. And that's really what progressives were all about. That's how progressives viewed the world. That's how they viewed change. That's how they viewed the role. They didn't think it was a good idea for someone to go, global warming is a problem. Here's how we're going to solve it. Listen to me because I'm the expert. Science, politics, blah, blah, blah. Do it now, because they thought people would go, I don't like being told what to do. Middle finger, I'm done. Okay. All right. So that's really it for today. If you have any questions, please make sure and let me know. Use the rest of your time to work on Progressive Sweep the Nation, and I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.